You know what also looks good? The new open, the new images for the deep dive. So take us through some of what you saw and what you noticed, because there was a lot going on last night in Seattle.
Are we going to run the open first?
Well, yeah, I think we should.
We're just going to dive in.
Hey, guys, go ahead and run it.
I stayed up all night, so we might as well show the new open.
Let's do it. You're riding a shark.
Hey, second week of June, some of the pandemic protocols have lifted. Cousins fishing trip back on. I'll be wrestling sharks.
Parts unknown.
Yes, we're going parts unknown. Past the Bahamas. I don't know what we're going to eat.
Cell service, yes or no?
Oh, you can't. We don't know. We don't come off the boat. There's no land. Order the flies for about 5 days.
You just rough it daily.
All right, so I was all in for this. The lead up to Jarrett Kelenick's start, Logan Gilbert's start. I mean, they were rolling out vintage Griffey Jr., A-Rod leading in. You couldn't help but get just fired up for it. And what does Scott Service do? He sticks Mr. Kelenick right in the leadoff spot. And I'm saying to myself, can't wait to see him, can't wait to see him. But before we dive into those guys, Zach Plesac kind of stole the show. So I'm going to kind of morph the two of them together and take you through Kelenick's at-bats. Let's go in real quick. Zach Plesac was on fire last night. Just pure command of his off-speed stuff. And Lauren, you talk about it. Rack that back real quick. My man looks good in the uni. All right? Knocks the donut off, leading off, eye black. Run it. Look at the cleats. Jordan cleats with some type of area code on them. I don't know what's going on there. And Zach Plesac's coming at you with a plethora of arm sleeve tattoos.
Yeah, he's like Randy Orton right
So you think he's going to throw nothing but fastballs down your throat. I've never seen a guy just have command quadrants of a changeup like this. Just a dead fish. He'd occasionally roll that breaking ball in there as well. Kyle Seager, I mean, he can almost tell you it was coming. Guys were sitting soft all night, sitting on the changeup. So I want to dive in. Pause this real quick, because I want to get back to this. So we talked about him yesterday. What's the offensive profile? Kind of gets into his legs like Juan Soto. I see a little Kevin Kiermaier at the dish, the way he sets his front foot. And I'm saying to myself, what's he going to do his first AB in the big leagues? And how's Mr. Plesac going to attack him? So run this real quick. Just heater away, kind of a little out in front, gets out and around it.
Oh,
unbelievable catch by Josh Naylor. Unbelievable catch right there. So now we go into the second AB, and by that time, run that back. He's got an awesome feel for his changeup by this inning. Bottom third, 1-2 count, keep it going, changeup right there. But what I noticed, and we'll get into a side angle, his base is clean. Look at that. I mean, yeah, he's a little out front. He's never seen Zach Plesac's changeup in his life before. One more time. I mean, look at the lower half. Weight on the inside of the back knee, strong, in the slot, seeing the baseball. He's not out front here. Yeah, he reaches a little bit and ends up punching out, but you walk back to the dugout, and as these at-bats progressed, I'm like, this man can hit. He can hit. He's feeling it. So you go into his third at-bat, bottom six. Changeup away right there. Back to that well one more time. Just an excellent pitch, and that's what he was doing all night. Run that back. So he's throwing you two dirty changeups. Barely seen a breaking ball except for one pitch, his second AB. Run this. I mean, this is a pretty good 0-2 pitch right here, and he's on it. Maybe just off the end just a little bit. So I figured for his fourth AB, he was going to come up and be locked in. Run that back real quick. I mean, that's a power take for a guy who's never been in the big leagues before. Change up right there, spit. Poof. What else you got? Well, the umpire's going to give you a call right there because that's a foot outside. Sir. So I should be 2-0. He spit takes another change up again, and he's on that. That's black away. Zach Plesac was on all night. So what I witnessed was Kelenick super confident in the dish. Tough draw for him. Not a guy who's going to attack you with a bunch of heaters. Had Kelenick faced his teammate, Logan Gilbert, I think he would have had better numbers. But last night, as I watched his at-bats progress, I was very impressed with the way he kind of managed the ABs and was into his legs, was not intimidated by the moment. I think he's gonna rake. On the flip side, Mr. Logan Gilbert out of Stetson, taking on a Cleveland offense, and we'll get into it, that's pretty much Franmil Reyes and Jose Ramirez, and then hang on for everyone else. And I just want to take you through some ABs. So pause this real quick. First inning, all he threw was fastballs. I mean, just rearing back and letting it eat. 94 to 97, right down the middle. So I'm like, all right, he's got to show a breaking pitch. So Franmil leads off the top of the second, and he rolls that first pitch in there. Okay, run this. You don't get that back in the big leagues. You just don't. Not to an animal like that. 0-1, just middle cut. So now Naylor's up after him. 96 black away. I love the fact that he attacked the zone. So right here, pause. I love the fact that he was attacking the zone. First pitch strikes all night, but I never felt, except for the top of the third, I never felt like he got in a rhythm where he was working. It was more rearing back and throwing. I don't know if it was the moment, first start, kind of got to give him a chance to get his legs underneath him. But here you are, 0-2 to Josh Naylor after giving up a homer. You're trying to set the tone, get back in the game, throw a nice heater in and lock him up. Middle, 97. That's getting hit. That's getting hit all day long. Fast forward. Big spot, get me over curveball. 1-0. Back in the count on a nice painted fastball. 1-1. Ahmed Rosario steals second. 2-1. Right here, we're going to get it to 3-1 on a non-competitive pitch. Pause. Game's on the line. I mean, you're scuffling a little bit. It's your first start. It's 2-0. Top third. This guy leads the league in homers. American League. Run this. I know that's not the pitch. I know middle's not the pitch to Jose Ramirez in that spot. So, again, I've been where Logan Gilbert's been, not on the mound, obviously, but when you can't feel your legs and you're shaking and you're trying to execute pitches, but you're missing just a little bit. And if you miss a little bit in the big leagues, it's four runs like that. So I'm interested to see his second start. I think he's going to be a heck of a lot better, and he's going to incorporate a little bit more off speed into the game. Something else I noticed, too. Ahmed Rosario came over in the big Francisco Lindor trade, and everyone talked about Andres Jimenez being that kind of middle infielder guy from the Mets that was going to be the new shortstop for the Cleveland Indians. And Ahmed Rosario was going to play a little center field and kind of bounce around as this super utility. And I'm saying to myself as I'm watching this random spring training game, I turn this on, pause this, I turn this on the MLB Network, random spring training game. In this game, Shohei Ohtani took Shane Bieber over the batter's eye, and he was working on fastball command. And it was the first time Mr. Rosario, you can run it, was playing center field. And Roflo, you brought this to my attention too. This was rough to watch, right?
Yeah. This was his first, I believe it was his first his first start in center field as a professional.
And he stood naked in front of whoever was at Tempe Diablo Stadium. And that's what happens, you know? You're not a big leaguer until you stood naked in front of 40,000 people. But I'll tell you what, somebody's getting pretty decent out there and is becoming pretty serviceable. And last night he was at shortstop picking and grinning as well. So defensive metrics, he's a -1 defensive run saved. 1 out above average is 99 in the third innings at shortstop. So he's basically league average at both center field and shortstop while getting a few big knocks for Cleveland. So nice to see him he was a can't miss guy for the New York Mets, and you didn't know where his career was going to go when he got traded to Cleveland. He wasn't necessarily the kingpin guy in that deal, and he's been playing pretty darn good for them. So it's pretty interesting to kind of watch Ahmed Rosario kind of watching the game and diving into that a little bit deeper, Roflo.